Welcome back to Meg's Mysteries. This week, story is Vacation of a Lifetime. Joe wakes up one morning and asks Lizzie, now that we are both retired and the kids are all on their own, do you want to go on that vacation we always wanted to take? And where do you want to go? Lizzie answers him, well, you've traveled all over for your work. Which place did you like the best? I'm game for anything as long as you're driving. We can finally make use of the RV we bought. Joe says, yes, I know you hate to drive. I will do it all. I'm used to it. Lizzie laughs and said, you know you don't like me to drive, and you drive so well. Joe laughed and said, oh, that's a good one. Then Joe tells her, I always wanted to show you the West, the desert and the mountains, and God's country. You'll love it. Lizzie says, I guess we will. Go west, young man. So Joe and Lizzie gardening are off on a vacation of a lifetime. So they were off, no plans. Joe liked just to go where he wanted to go, let the road take him. You're only around once, he used to say. The scenery with the mountain view and the desert all around was breathtaking. Lizzie made him stop so she could take a lot of pictures of everything. She told him, let's take our time and enjoy the freedom of the road. Joe said, I knew you would love it. So they stopped at each little interesting shop and stop that came on their way. One was an Indian village, a rock museum, and the largest jackrabbit exhibit, just to name a few. As they drove on, it was getting more and more deserted, and no one was on the highway at all as they traveled toward Death Valley. Their water and food supply was getting low, and they needed gas soon. So Lizzie said, oh, I see a sign. Last stop before Death Valley. Food, water, and rest area. They kept driving and saw no other signs or other cars on the road. Only a straight desert road. Then Lizzie said, over there, turn off over there, that dirt road. It went far away from the highway. Then they started making out a little town. It looked like a desert mirage. Just out of nowhere it popped up. The sign said, welcome to Quicksilver, population 300. It was a beautiful old western town, all old buildings and houses, all very well kept. Joe said, let's stop and get some gas, groceries, and supplies. Lizzie said, I want to check out the town. It looks very interesting, and I need a break from the road. So they decided to stay for a couple nights. They're in no hurry. The townspeople were so friendly and welcoming. So they decided to stay at the Old Silver Hotel. The hotel's owner, Mrs. Silverstone, told them a little about the town. It used to be an old silver mine town. We still have the best silver jewelry store around, and our Indian guide Henry, who takes vacationers out to the old silver mine and the area. Do you ride horses? But she didn't wait for an answer. She just said, also, we are having a town fair this week. You should stay for that. Then she told us to try Rose's Cafe with the best homemade food you'll ever eat. Then go over to the saloon. Frank and Molly own it and run it. It's a great place to feel like you're in the Old West. So we did. We ate at Rose's Cafe. Rose was so kind and the food was wonderful. We stopped at the saloon and met the mayor of the town, Mr. Blakely, and also the doctor, Dr. Turner, who looked a lot like Doc in Gunsmoke. The marshal walked in too, Marshal Wells. I whispered to Joe, I wonder if they have a Miss Kitty too. But they all were very friendly and nice to us. That night we strolled around the town. It had a quite quiet beauty that makes you feel at ease and almost like we're finally home. It looks like a nice place to retire. Nice friendly people and a great history of a quaint town. Almost like stepping into the Old West days without the gunfights and rowdy cowboys. Then I noticed a sign for the town fair. An Old West show, many little craft tables, homemade foods, and a pie eating contest. And at the end, a fireworks display at night. So we decided to stay and enjoy it all. That morning we went to Rose's Cafe for breakfast. It was great. Then we took a ride with Henry, the Indian guide. He didn't say much until we went to the silver mine. Then we couldn't stop him from talking about the history of the town. Then we went to each little store. We browsed. I loved it. Joe liked talking to some of the old townspeople and the store owners. The next night was the fair. It was something special. We had a great time. It was like going back into another time. No rushing around. We just took it all in, and we were enjoying life. That morning we hated to leave, but it was time to get back on the road and back to our vacation. Joe went to pick the RV. It was gassed up and ready to go. But now it wouldn't start. It was parked at the garage lot where we left it to get serviced and filled up. The owner had told us he'll take care of everything, but now he was nowhere in sight. Joe noticed a lot of abandoned cars that looked like they were there for a long time, like an old junkyard. We didn't notice them when we came and parked the RV. Then he came back to the hotel. I said, "Are we all set to go?" I packed. He told me the RV won't start and he couldn't find anyone around. I said maybe they all overdid it last night at the fair and they're all sleeping in. But I didn't see Mrs. Silverstone when I tried to check us out. How strange. So we went to Rose's Cafe. The mayor, the doc, and also Frank and Molly from the saloon. Marshall Wells was there too. Then Henry and Mrs. Silverstone came in. I said, "Oh, here, this is where you all are. We were wondering." The mayor stood up and said, "We were waiting for you two." I just looked at Joe like, what's he talking about? Joe said, "Please sit down. We have a proposition for the both of you. This town, Quicksilver, is older than you think." I said, "Yes, but it's beautifully kept up." But as I said that, the cafe and the buildings looked like they were decaying before my eyes. Even the people started to look old and pale. Mrs. Silverstone said, "Well, my dear, this is how we are and how the town really looks." I started to get an uneasy feeling, and Joe said, "We just want to get our RV fixed and we are out of here. This was nice, but we must be on our way." The mayor said, "We would like you to join us. You see, we need new people to revive the town, and you were picked. We found you both dead off the highway. You must have been out of gas, food, and water. You were there for a long time, and no one would have found you. You were so far off the highway. You must have taken the wrong turn and ran out of gas. There's nothing but desert and mountain all around you." I said, "This is crazy. We're not dead." And then I looked at Joe. He did seem odd and very pale looking, and he was fading. Then I looked in the mirror. I also didn't look alive. The mayor said, "Please join us. It'll help us and you. Just sign the town registry, and you'll be part of the town. New ghost of Quicksilver. Stay here with us. The town will be renewed again. Or you'll be buried in our old cemetery, like those who choose not to join us." Rose said, "Please join us. You can have that lovely old house by the hotel. It's vacant." So I looked at Joe and said, "What do you think? Be a ghost in a ghost town? Or be buried in an old cemetery? Stay in a town that never grows up and always stays beautiful? So what do you think? What would you have done?" We decided to sign the registry and take them up on their offer. So now I'm the new owner of the gift shop, specializing in silver jewelry that I make myself. Joe is the new chef at Rose's Cafe. Everybody loves his new menu. It's a lovely, quaint little town. You should stop by sometime. Just look for the sign, Quicksilver, population 302. We'll all be here waiting for you. Thanks for joining Meg's Mysteries. See you next time.